I'm glad I'm the chosen one who's doing that work for you guys.
I'd like to believe that I'm unshockable.
He wants me to tell him that he's like amazing. That's what works for him.
If we can't enjoy the food with flavor, what are we eating for? You know? Welcome, guys. My name is Harry, and I'm your host for A Seed of Wisdom podcast. It's been a while. You have joined me for a new episode. I've been busy and talking to amazing guests so that I can bring it forward for you guys. And today, my guests I just love them. I worked with them, and they have pulled so many strings for me, but I would like to introduce to you guys Brooke and Carol from New Way Life Solutions. Welcome, guys.
Thank you,
Thank
Harry.
you.
It's
How are we feeling today?
amazing. It's beautiful to be here with you this afternoon. And looking forward to whatever we come up with. I think it's going to be really enlightening for someone.
I don't know. The fire is I can feel the heat coming already. It's all gonna happen. I just it's been a while, and I wanted you guys to come along on the show, and I'm really grateful for you guys to be here. Finally, we found time that can work for everyone because he came from Brisbane. So thank you so much. Let's start. Let's start with
No problems.
who we are, and we don't have a script, as you know, and we're just gonna free
Winging
flow. And that was Brooke's idea. He said, let's just rock up and see what we can do. This can be 1 hour podcast, 2 hour podcast, we don't know. So
But
let's
Brooke's
see.
here, so chances are it's going to be 2.
I feel the judgment. It's
He
quite a nice
doesn't
judgment.
get on
isn't it?
camera much often, so today's a lucky day for us.
No, that's it. It's very good. Myself personally, if I was to introduce myself, Brooke, so many aspects to who I am as a human, and depends where I am in each moment. But have businesses, entrepreneur, basically, love supporting humans, working through whatever it is that's holding them back from being the best versions of themselves. Carol and I do a lot of work in relationship space, helping people get into relationships in a different way than what they've been modelled in their lives.
Yes.
And that's really our passion. We do this from a place of, this is really what really lights us up as humans, is to connect other humans and work on that. And in the same space as that, I'm always learning myself and what's my edges and what I need to do to connect with myself and other humans as well. So it's been an amazing journey for Carol and I to do that. And we do lots of different things, but
Yes.
we'll see how we go during the day, what comes up.
Yeah, which we'll love to talk about, And Carol.
Hi, I'm Carol. I'm obviously Brooke's partner. We're co-founders of New Way Life Solutions. We started around 7 years ago.
Wow.
7 years ago, really after just our own lives coming to a bit of a head, I think. A lot of our stuff comes from experience. I think we've both been married before. We have, life experience. I think that's brought some wisdom to theory, a lot of theory that we've spent a lot of time learning.
Yeah.
I guess what Brooke says around the passion being around helping people be in better relationships, it's not just about that immediate relationship we have with the person that we've chosen to be with in life, but it's the relationships we have
Around.
every single day, right?
Yes.
Because we're in relationships all the time and we forget that we're in that. Like,
Yes.
in a relationship with myself all day long. I'm in a relationship with him all day long, but
Yes.
I'm having a relationship with you right now too. And so
Yes.
it has such a massive impact on people's lives, how we show up in relationship. And so we get really passionate about it. So it's great to be able to talk about it.
Yeah, it's been on my mind since we did the retreat with you guys, me and Rebecca. And I always speak to Rebecca. I said, I want them to be on the podcast, but I know that there will be a right time for it. And it's been like it was last year, right?
It's October last year, I think you
Yeah,
did the retreat.
and it's all these months just for me to, this is the right time
Do you think you're ready?
for this.
Yeah.
Man, I will never be ready. I just had to take a step forward.
Perfect.
You know,
That's
as
the
we
truth.
speak.
That's the
It's
Your
what's
language.
the saying? The saying is pretty simple, as if it was not now, when.
Now,
And that's the truth. You know,
Yeah.
like we sit there and we go, yeah, not yet, or it's not time, or I've got this going on. But the truth is, like, when is the time and when is it important enough for you to actually take that step into whatever that's holding you back? I was going to use fear as a narrative, but yeah, what is it that you need to look at in your life and move forward into that? So, yeah. And also, like you're saying here, synchronicity of, you know, life is what it is,
Yeah.
and now's the time for us to be here. See how we go.
And also, I think it aligns perfectly because you have so much coming in this year. And I think every month or every second month there is some workshop, retreat, like something. So I feel like it's all connected. It's right now. Let's go.
Absolutely.
You know?
It's a big year.
Otherwise, it's the same thing, you know. We need to shake things up a little.
Yes.
Otherwise, you go to work at 6 o'clock, come back at 7 and finish.
Harry's jealous.
And
But anyway.
it lines up too. I think we made a big commitment at the end of last year. We sort of said we're tired of fluffing around with this stuff and we want to do it properly. And, you know, we've chosen a much bigger venue for UR this year. Like it's a pretty decent expansion on what we've done in the past. And
Yes.
so, you know, we've had to really commit to this. And, you know, like you say about being ready, I think
Yes.
we all sit around and wait until everything's perfect before we do something. And it's like do it unprepared.
Yes.
And
yes.
learn as you go, and that's the gold when you come out the other side.
It's true.
Everything I learned in that process is this, and this, and I wasn't ready for it. Do it anyway,
Yeah.
you know.
And I had the same question. I asked Rebecca, I said, they're doing all this amazing work, but why I don't see them a lot? You know?
So, yeah, I think one of the things is, we were talking about it just before about not being on social media and doing all that sort of stuff. I think that market's really saturated, and it's not, you know, something that we're really into. We use word of mouth is our biggest advertisement for what we do. Like us, and you're here now talking about it, but it's also about, where's our restrictions in that as well? There's a piece for us to step into that more and get out there. Like I was saying to you just before, it was pre-COVID, had, you know, a fair bit of stuff on social media and would always do live feeds. And then between then and now, I've just got out of the habit, got busy in other parts of my life as well. There's the truth in that. And, so it hasn't been a priority, but it's time now to move back into that space. So this is one of those things to maybe break the spell, whatever was going on in the background.
Oh, look, I'm glad I'm the chosen one who's doing that work for you guys.
Look, Harry, if you don't believe you're the chosen one, not another single person in this world is going to believe that, right? So that's the greatest thing for people to learn as well,
Yeah,
you know? Like
yeah.
there's a beautiful piece in that, you know. Some people might say things like that are ego, but it's like, we wouldn't do this. We wouldn't do anything in our world if it wasn't for our ego. And I think so if people could change that a little bit and understand that the reason we get up and do things of importance is because of our ego or our mind,
Yes.
right, is the piece that believes enough and passionate enough about it to do something about it and get over the fear. So maybe I need to have a little sit down, have a chat with my ego and, you know, sort of beef things up a
maybe
bit.
go for a weekend somewhere.
Yeah. You know anywhere I could go. You know? And that was the other thing too. I was just going to come back to Carol before, said you are. For us, we understand everyone else calls it you are. It's the Ultimate Relationships is a weekend that we run for relationships for single people and for people's in relationship with another person at that time. So super important for us that's to do the thing. And we made it for singles as well, in that like most of them are wanting to be in a relationship and don't understand why they've failed or in the past. So you can come along and do the weekend and see what it is that holds you back from being in a relationship. So
Well, maybe we can start from here while we're talking about singles and they want to be in a relationship.
Yep.
And what's stopping them? Because before I get onto this, I would like to get a bit of touch on the individual work you do, because I know you work with Mankind Project.
Yep.
So, and you work with Women's Circle as well. So you want to touch that, and then we can move on to the that singles relationship or
Yeah.
his relationship as
Well, I
well.
suppose, yeah, if we're talking about the work that I do in personal development and growth and all that sort of stuff, a lot of it's done through Mankind Project Australia, which was where I started. I didn't even know. I was doing a money retreat with Carol. We just started going out, and they were doing this money retreat, and the woman said, "Oh, my partner did this thing, and he came home completely different. Even my dog shifted to being his dog and all that sort of stuff." And I went, "Oh, I've got to do that." You know, and so I made the choice to do it. And I went home and I looked it up and I went, "Oh yeah," and I was in a bit of fear and all that sort of stuff. So I said, "Oh, there's a book. I'll get the book." You know, and then the next day on the way to work, it was like I was really emotional. I had tears running down my face, and I'd let myself down by not booking into that course, you know, to do it. So yeah, that was in November in 2015, and then it wasn't until the April 2016 that it was on. So I booked into it, and I thought it was this, you know, men's initiation, rites of passage, you know, adventure. It's called New Warrior Training Adventure is their lead training.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, like, there's going to be all this training and everything. I won't give too much of it away, as you know.
Yeah.
And it gets into the place of like it was an internal adventure. It was like getting to know myself, and it's called a rites of passage or a self-initiation weekend that Mankind does.
Yes.
And it's a 48-hour ordeal. Beautiful. Like some people call them retreats. I wouldn't call it a retreat. You know,
Let's keep that secret too.
yeah. Don't bring your golf clubs if you're listening to this and you make the choice to get on board, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it changed my life completely. And it really put me on the trajectory of, well, you know, if this is what it is for me, then how do I give back and what do I do in community? Because, you know, I've had a lot of failed relationships and a lot of things haven't gone so well in my life. And I was like, they're experiences that I can actually learn from and help and support other people with, you know, experiences that I've been through. So, yeah, that was where that comes from. And then they have what they call an I group, integration groups. Every week is a circle for men to sit in all around Australia and all over the world. Once you're initiated into that Mankind Project, it is a worldwide organisation. So you can go anywhere. I know people that come here, they're travelling around the world and they just look for the closest one. They turn up and they sit in a circle with men and work through whatever's going on for them. So that's a beautiful part. And then from that, we both got into relationship work because I was actually doing a lot of women's work with Carol. She was helping someone run retreats, and I was the man on the weekend. I'll say the man loosely. I was the male energy on the weekend there for that. I did about 10 or 12 of them. So that was beautiful to go through that and understand women at a different level than I'd ever experienced before. A lot of my stuff was with women, so from my mum, stuff that I learned from my mum, to then what I recreated in my relationships from that. So it was really beautiful to see a different way of being in a relationship with women. Then I went and studied and did all this stuff and then went into coaching and counselling and addiction recovery. So I do a bit of that as well. And I've got a excavator hire business as well.
Which doesn't match, I don't know.
It's like,
two different worlds.
Yeah. And I think that's the beautiful thing is like there was a long time there where I was going through this place where, you know, you've got to be spiritual, you've got to do this, or if you're in this industry, you've got to be like that. Well, the truth is, as a human, I'm so many dimensions. There's so many things that I do. And so, like for me, it's about being in that, immersed in whatever I'm doing in that moment. So if that's for that day, also race V8 superboats. I've been doing that for 25 years, and that's another piece of me that like people go, "What you do? What?" Yeah, that's just. There's so many different things that I do. So and I'm a dad and a grandfather, and you know, all that sort of stuff as well. So but that's it, and it's really my passion to support people to do life differently.
I can relate to that when you speak about it, because the work that you do helping men, women, people in general, you're able to do that because you have other things that you do too. That's when I guess people burn out, when they're only doing one thing. You have your jet boat racing, that's fun for you. So your mind is, you're just present on the water, like, you know, just fighting with those winds, right? And then you have another business, which you're not, because I remember when I was in Melbourne, I had a little session with you, and because Lockie recommended, you know, talk to Brooke. He's not like any other people that you find on the Gold Coast or in general, and I can relate, because most of them, it's not nothing bad about it. It's like everybody's on, as you say, social media, like, you know, everywhere, and trying to find you can't find Brooke because he's in his la la land. He's enjoying. He doesn't care like what's going on because he's doing his work on the side, right? So I think which is more important these days, because once you dive too much into it, that's when you lose that the spark, the passion of the work, because it can be very intense.
Yeah.
Like we saw.
And I think for me that the greatest part of that is about being relatable to people. And the truth is, I'm like everyone else. I get up in the morning, like you say, I go to work at 6 o'clock in the morning and go and do my other job, and then I come home and have breakfast and you know, whatever else happens in the day, and then have clients and everything. But it means that I'm real. You know, I'm not sitting there telling you what you can do or what you should do from that place of not understanding or not lived any of it in the past. And, you know, bought and paid for experience, as I call them. And that's the best way to sit with people and understand.
Yes.
And from all the stuff that I've been through with people now as well, it's like I'd like to believe that I'm unshockable. I've seen the atrocities that humans can create for each other, and which helps as well in being present still. You know, I don't go into any of my own stuff to go, oh my God, that's brought up stuff for me or anything like that. It's like just staying there and just working through it with a person and being super present. So I really enjoy that part of it, in that, like being able to hold those people, the amount of people that share things with me they've never shared with anyone else before in their world is, that I'm going to get emotional about that right now, but it's like that really does bring me that piece of humility that, you know, people feel safe enough to be able to come and talk about those things that they haven't talked to anybody about. So, that's what probably lights me up, is helping humans change the narrative so that they can move on their life in a good way.
And when you do the work, there is a part of you heals as well.
100%.
There is something in there that you never saw, but as we say, the perception as well, you know. So if something is healing in the person you're helping, there's something in you. It's like, okay, delete.
Or come to terms with them. I don't think, you know, to think that we're going to do this work and delete stuff is unrealistic, you know. Like if I've had a really massive trauma in my childhood, it's always going to be there. So for me, the piece is about how do I get into good relationship with that piece, get to understand how it affects my life so that I can then change the way I show up in the world, you know. I think we'll go on to Carol for a minute. We can come back to
you know,
about all
we
that
have
sort
plenty
of
of time, as we said. This will go forever today, guys.
Yeah, and it's you know, so for me, you would have heard in a lot of the stuff people say that they're being triggered by something.
Yes.
So that's an old wound or an old piece of belief or value or something like that that's been instilled in childhood is surfacing in this moment right now. So in our relationship, it comes up, and then I go, "Oh, there's something," and then I'll react from that space. So that never goes away. Like, people don't ever believe if someone says they're going to get rid of that for you. Well, they're not. They're going to bypass it.
Yes.
The truth is I get into better relationship with it and I can see it. And then when it comes up, I don't have to make it actually mean anything about me or us. I can just go, actually, that's not true right here, right now.
Yes.
Or with you, you know, like if I'm driving down the street and you cut me off, how do I know what you've been through in that day? And how do I know that you come from this city?
Yeah.
And you don't know that you had to get off of that. You know, I've been to Sydney. You ever driven across the Harbour Bridge?
Once.
Yeah. Well, that's probably
I'm
enough.
glad you made it to the other side.
But if you use that as an analogy, that's our life. You know,
Yeah.
like we want to get off over there. All of a sudden we're in the right lane. We've got to get to the left lane and we panic.
Yes.
That's what happens in our life when something gets presented to us. So, yep. We can come back to
All
that.
right. Carol.
I've forgotten what the question was. It was from so long ago. What was the question?
You're saying I take up too much space?
No,
All right.
absolutely not. You should take up space.
That's what he teaches, take space.
Yeah. I guess for me, the experience probably really started when I was about 37. My marriage was kind of coming to an end, or was coming to an end. I was having what I'd consider at the time probably a little bit of a nervous breakdown. I just remember ending up kind of in my kitchen on the floor going, like, I can't live the rest of my life like this. This isn't, like, going to work. And so I kind of embarked on my own little journey of, well, how did I get here? What like decisions I've made for the last 20 years have landed me here? How the heck did I ended up where I am?
20 years.
And so it's like, you know, I went on a little personal development journey of my own to try and unpack what was going on for me and what I really wanted out of my life. And it led me down a path of learning a lot about NLP. If we don't know what that is, neuro-linguistic programming. My training was very fundamental around that kind of theory. I learned about Reiki and energetics and all this other really cool stuff. And I just kind of went off and did a whole bunch of different stuff, breath work, sound, there was all kinds of things. And really, you know, by the time we came together and started to explore the work together, there was this, at the time we were running circles, and Ultimate Relationships was really kind of a gift to us from a couple that we know they were in their 70s, I think. And they had been running that program for 15 odd years, and we came along and went and did the weekend as a fairly new couple. And it was really from there that we started to go back and staff and continue to learn and train under them, which was a Mankind Project theory as well, I guess, way of working. And that's kind of where that stemmed. And then they got to a point where they were sort of wanting to move on, and we were really fortunate enough for them to go, here you go, guys, we're going to train you up and we're going to teach you everything we know, and then you can take it and make it yours. And that's really where Ultimate Relationships came from. So we were really honoured to be given the privilege of being able to take that. And we have done some stuff in it that does make it our own and takes our own living experiences and makes it kind of our program. But that's really cool. In addition to that, we run co-gender circles. So co-gender circles started, we were running them when COVID hit. We started doing online circles when COVID hit. And that was really amazing, because that was the first time we really brought men and women together, and men and women from all over the world.
Oh, wow.
Like, we would have people in Italy and Malaysia and just everywhere. And so the dynamics of having people from different cultures, such extremely different cultures, and then having men and women in that space at the same time made it super fascinating to try and navigate all of that when you got people in different time zones and all that. So that was a really cool experience, and they were hugely popular. We ran those for about 2 years while COVID was a big thing, and then we kind of shut that down and started doing in-person co-gender circles, which was really interesting. You know, it was sad to lose the scope of the people that we had online, but at the same time, face-to-face interactions in those environments can produce like astounding results as well. You know, the energetics of people coming together when they do that work is really powerful, and you can't kind of run away with that. And that's been our preference for the work that we do ever since. So co-gender circles, I run women's circles as well. Again, you know, there was a huge demand for them at some point, and then it kind of petered out, and, you know, life happened, and I stopped doing them for a little while and came back beginning of last year, I think we kicked them back off again, along with the co-gender circles came back. And so it's been super busy doing that. In addition, I run a women's retreat, which really came about, was interesting. My social media person dragged out this really old photo of me from my first retreat that I ran like 7 years ago, and she's like, oh, can you put like a bit of a history together so I can do a post? And I went, oh God, I'm going to have to really think about that, like what's happened in the last 7 years. And I sat down and timelined it out, and I'm like, oh, look, my first retreat was back in 2019. It was in someone's lounge room, like with 8 women or something, and I put together this little timeline of everything, and I went, holy shit, like a lot has happened in the last 7 years. And I really recognized that there was this point where probably my first 3 or 4 retreats were all very, very theoretical and very like, I just recognized that there was a point where I think 2019, my eldest son was killed in an accident.
Oh, wow.
And then, you know, I kind of plowed through that. And then 12 months later, I was diagnosed with stage 3 bowel cancer. And so my whole life just like crashed into this ball of whatever. And I plowed through everything, right? I just kept going. I was looking at my timeline. I'm like, I'm still running retreats. I'm still working. I'm still like doing all of this stuff. And then I called it, right? And that was the point at which I went, I'm teaching people, or I'm trying to teach people how to take care of themselves and how to, you know, put myself first. And this is what I'm trying to teach people. And here's me, like, hasn't had one moment to heal or grieve or do any of the things I should have done. And so then there was a stop, right? And that's why when I say circles came back last year, there was a break for about 2 or 3 years where I just stopped doing everything and allowed that time to just really recover properly and heal and grieve. And I still grieve. That never goes away. Don't let anybody tell you whatever it ever does. It never does. And then I came back. And so my first retreat back after all that was in 2014. And I recognize when I look at the numbers, like
2024.
What did I say?
14.
Oh, 2024.
That's
It
right.
was only like 2 years ago, but I came back and started retreats again and then kicked off the circles again. And then the co-gender kicked back off again and ultimate relationships picked back up again. So the last 2.5 to 3 years have been a real sort of coming back in after that. Like, because both our worlds kind of fell apart when all that was happening. It wasn't just me that was experiencing all of that. It was him as well. And, but just noticing the difference in the work that we do now after having the life experience and continuing to have the life experience has fundamentally changed, I think, the way I show up in those spaces. And you know, Brooke being able to come from a different perspective as well. Again, the supporter, being able to hear all that. So yeah, it's really, I think when I got to do that, just in the last few days, ironically, I probably wouldn't have been able to tell that story about what my background is and what my history is if I hadn't have sat down and really had a good look at it myself and go, geez, wow. Like, it's pretty big.
Yeah. I think for me, witnessing it from the other side in that last bit, the real changeover is the piece from the believing and embodying what she had been teaching before and understanding that now it's like it's actually part of who she is, that she can deliver that from that space without having to have everything, you know, really cognitive. I think that's, for me, that's one of the things that I really love about the work. You've done some work with me, and it's about just following what's real. And I don't have to stick to a script. You know,
And
it's like
script is like, you know, then you just stuck into that. Like, I could have wrote 20 questions, 40 questions, but what we having a chat, that's what podcast is. It's a chat. You know, like whatever comes up, it's because it's all connected. What are you going to talk now? It will be connected to your life, what you've been through. And because if you haven't healed some parts of you, what are you going to heal? Or how are you going to help people? Like, if I'm going through shit or I've been through shit, then I can connect. All right, this person is going through shit. He'll be fine. We'll help him out. You know, that's what coach is, because they have done the work.
Yeah.
And then they just help you to maneuver through it rather than going long way. You just take a little.
We'll see. When you say that, the people have to be coachable as well.
Oh yeah.
In that, like, there's some people, you know, in this world that just aren't, and there's other people. I was just coming down here this morning. One of my first early, like, long-term clients lives on the canal around the corner, and one of the most coachable people that I've ever worked with. And you know, just, you know, you talk about it, goes and actions it, comes back. You know, what are we doing? Goes and actions it, comes back, and you know, life is completely different for him now compared to what it was before. And you know, those are the things for me. It's like, I think in this industry, it's not so much, you know, in the moment. Quite often, there's questions of like, how's this actually going? Am I okay? Am I good enough to have this? Do I actually, you know, help these people? And I think for me, the greatest thing is a few years later, looking at those people or witnessing those people in their life and going like, it's amazing. You see, you know, you knew them before and you can see them now, and it's like, so I think that's the reward.
That's,
you know, for me, it's not so much in the, you know, like you explained before, I don't need it to put food on my table. I do it from that place of love. Obviously, I get paid for it, but it's, the reward is more in the witnessing the human and the growth, and then the change in the generation, the next generation that gets to be, you know, nurtured and loved in a completely different environment than maybe we were or that person was. Right? Because that's about it. You know, it's about how do we break that cycle now. And, you know, if we went to men's work, like, who are men now? Let's not go down that track right now. You know?
Right now.
So
But I had this question that's popped up just with this. How important it's for couples to heal themselves or work on themselves before they become a parent?
So we'll go back to you, Harry. So we'll go into a coaching session for a minute. Hey? How's that? Hey?
All right, guys,
So
free coaching session.
Next. No. So we'll come back to that. No, it's a beautiful piece, but it's like, you know, for me, I could give you my experience on that, right? And there's a piece inside of you now. You've asked this question because it's actually alive in you, right? So what's the piece for you now? It's like you're seeing because I know some of your stuff. I've worked with you, like I said, and your stuff generationally, if we talk about culturally as well, and then you've chosen a woman from a completely different culture as well to be in relationship with in a completely different country, right? So there's like
nothing normal.
Actually,
we're
it's
not
perfectly normal.
Yeah,
All extreme.
no. I think it's like, it is beautiful because the people that are actually, you say like I'm a weirdo. I say that personally, and I'll put a little lighthouse on so the other weirdos know where to go and come and see me. And the truth is, we're the ones that are normal because we understand that there is nothing that's the same, right? So I think that's one of the greatest things. There is no normal. So it's like, be yourself. Like, really give yourself the permission to be yourself.
Yes.
We'll come back to what you asked. It's like, what's some of the things that you've noticed that you're looking at in your life now that you're looking to bring children into this world? It's like, you can see the things that you've changed. What are you changing in that for yourself?
It's just like, looking at the patterns or some habits that I have, like since with Rebecca, before I never done this work, never like even thought about it, and as they say, the right person will trigger that so you can see, so you can deal with it rather than just putting under the rug. And I used to see or say things that like, why do I, like there was why there now, like why? Or Rebecca say, why did you say that? Did I say that? Or why? She said, yeah, why? So that's the question. I question, and I'm like, more awareness, I would say. So if you're not aware, what are you going to do? You just subconsciously, you're going to do the same thing. And I think this year, last year, since all this happened in life and mom and stuff, so there are a lot of things that have shown where I need to step back and where I need to step forward, or step up in sense, and how to support Rebecca and how is she supporting me. Because we are like, what's stress for her is like minimal for me. And I said to her, I said, when I stress, you stress. If I don't stress, don't stress. Because different culture, Coming from India is like every day is something new. Fuck, I have to tackle this. And for them is like it's hard some areas too, but her family has different values, right?
Yeah.
So that's for us.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the word that you used there was awareness. So, and if I was to answer your question, like, how do you have to be fully healed in order to have children or to be a parent? It's like, how healed do you have to be? It's like, I would go, nobody's ever fully healed.
Oh yes.
We have to stop thinking that like we're healed. Our work is all about taking the stuff that we say is in the background, all the shadow behaviors, the beliefs, the programming, all the stuff that we grew up with and were built into us at a very, very young age. They're all the things that play out for us as adults. They're the things that drive our behavior. And all our job is to bring those from back here to here. So I can see them and I'm aware of them and I can change my behavior because I can see them. But if they stay back here and we plow through life and we're oblivious to the stuff we're doing and how we're showing up, it can never change. Your only job in preparation for being a parent is to start to bring those things forward so you can be aware of them and then make a different choice. And that will change the way you show up as a parent. That's all you can do. So we have to, I think, try not to pressure ourselves into going, I have to be in a certain position before I become a parent. Because the reality is if you do that, you'll never become a parent. It's like am I ready? You're never going to be ready. So it's like, do the best you can to start becoming aware of those things and making different choices. And that's all you can do. You're never going to... Unfortunately, my belief system says, and what I've learned tells me that children come into this world already with their own beliefs and their own, through the DNA, they carry 7 generations of shit. And it's like, you can't stop that from happening, Harry. Like if you decide to have children and you have children, they come into the world already, like little blueprinted children that have...
That's what's coming from Cosmos. Well, the
100%.
software updated. Get out of here now.
100%.
Alt
I'm a
delete.
big believer in that. Yeah. I'm a big believer that they come into the world
Yes.
already. I call it radical responsibility. I chose my life. I chose my life. I chose it before I arrived. And some
Yeah.
people think this is a little bit far and a bit out there, but this is like,
It
it's
is
what I
true.
believe. And it just enables me to go, if I had shit parents, I chose them. What am I meant to learn about that? What am I meant to take and bring from back here to here and go, okay, because of that relationship, I now do this. And is that serving me or not? Yes or no? If it's not, I get to change it and make a different choice. But I don't think as somebody
There's
who's
no-
preparing to be a parent, I don't know that there's any way that you can change any of that other than just become aware of your own stuff. Oh my God, you lost
No,
the
I didn't
words.
lose for words. I was just trying to work out. It was a filler to see what I would actually say. One of the greatest things I think in that is gratitude for each other in the relationship. So the biggest marker for success in a relationship is when we live in a place of gratitude for the other person, being grateful for them being in your life instead of picking and nitty all the little bits that they do wrong. So really shift that over to something that's beautiful about how they add value to your life. Right? That's gratitude. How do you add value to my life? Can I see that? And then say, hey, I love the way you do this, or move forward in that. Right? In that, what happens is we think that we're telling our children what to do. The absolute truth is we're modeling to them before they can even speak. Or understand language. They're watching and learning, and if there's love and gratitude for each other, there's safety. The child feels safe, and the child grows up in a beautiful environment, hopefully.
Yes.
Right? If we don't have that, and there's bickering and there's fighting and there's disconnect and everything else as well, the child doesn't feel safe right from the start. So think back to your question, if you're getting ready for it, like be in a place where you can shift to gratitude and choosing this partner. And then as we move in forward in life, it's like if people could continue to learn to understand, I was not going to swear, that as we move forward, the reason that we have a child is because I loved you, right? Change it to, I love you and we're having children together. Right? How am I going to see the beauty in that? Right? Rather than knocking you down in my own internal language, you don't fucking do this for me, you don't do that for me, and you don't show up like this anymore. You don't look after me like you used to. Like all the stories, I could go on, I've got a lot of them. Because I've been through all that. I've been through like 2 long-term relationships that have broken down. And when I look back at it now, it's from the lack of gratitude, really.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you giving to my world? Nothing. Fuck you. Right? And so where's that piece of where I can turn that around and go, actually, right? And there's so much to talk about there, you know, about how we look at all that and how it changes when we have children, and are you ready for the changes? I think that's a bigger conversation. It's like, what's going to change when you have children? What's going to change about, if we're talking about the woman, you know, what's going to change physically? What's going to change emotionally? What's going to change hormonally?
Yes.
All these things are going on, and I'm going to say over here, but realistically it's here because it's within me as well.
Yeah.
And where can we have open conversations and honest conversations and understand, you know, if Carol was to have a baby right now, I'm going to lose 50% of her, right? Because there's a human being that absolutely needs her. 50% would be a, you know, probably maybe a low mark, right?
Yeah.
But if a man went into the relationship when he's having the child, understanding that he was going to lose her, and he was prepared for it, and he had a game plan for that, and they had conversations about it, so they had a way to work through it, like we would probably save 25% of relationships straight away.
Yes.
You know, at the start, if there was education about that, so people understood, you know, if I'm sitting here, I remember I was 22 when I had my first child.
Wow.
That was the second baby I ever held in my life, was my own son. And, you know, how was I prepared? I was not prepared, right? Like, I was not
Can't
prepared.
imagine.
Hey, you know, I was loose. I was a great person, you know. And as a dad, if my son's listening to me, my kids are listening to me now, it's like, you know, one of the reasons that I do this work is because I want to change that in the future so that it doesn't, you know, like it doesn't go the same. And if I can change it in a couple other people outside of me in the world, then that's a legacy I'll be happy to leave, you know. So that's really beautiful. But I think it's like, you know, how do we educate to get to be in a better place so that when we do have children, we know how it looks. You know, how am I missing out? What's gone from my world? I've lost my partner, my love, my friend, my entertainment. You know, this is the fun park over here. You know, but, you know, I'll lose that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, then there's places out where people do things that they wouldn't normally do, right? Because they don't understand what's actually going on. So they make all sorts of stories, and they'll start drinking, and they'll do all sorts of things. They'll go outside the relationship and all those sorts of things. Whereas, like, if you can come back to the place of going, like, hey, I'm feeling sad that we're not connected like we used to be. Can we take some time? Like, who knows? But if you know, you can ask for it. If the other person knows it's important, they can also go, hey, I know we have kids because we loved each other, and right now I'm not seeing that you love me because you're working. All you're doing is working. You're never here to support me.
Yes.
Well, he's doing what he knows to do.
Yeah.
He's going to put his ass, head down, ass up, and make some more money to make sure everything's okay.
Everything's okay.
And
provide.
she's feeling less and less.
Which can be like hard sometimes too, because both are important. He knows that money is important, but the wife is important too. So that can be like
it's a tough balance.
It's a very tough balance.
It's a tough balance between what you need to do just to survive and fundamentally, get through a day when you've got babies and stuff like that and jobs and all that kind of stuff. It's a tough gig to bring that back. One of the things that we teach fundamentally is that there's 3 relationships going on here. There's you or him, me, and then there's us.
Us, yeah.
So there's a third part of the relationship, which is the us. And generally, what happens when people have kids is the us is what gets left
Drifts
behind.
apart, yeah.
Because the woman's over here fundamentally focusing on being a mother, which is a massive transition in itself. And then the dad winds up doing that, dropping back into what he knows best, which is the work and the and then that third part of the relationship is the part that suffers. And then ultimately the me and him also start
Drift
to
apart, yeah.
sort of move away. So it's about just having those strategies around how do we continue to have that us part of the relationship, because it disappears so quickly once you introduce a baby into it, because this then becomes the whole focus for everyone. And we always say we do this work so that the next generation has a better way of being. So you have to demonstrate that, because they learn through watching you, and if they watch you go like this, that's what they're going to learn. And that's what they're going to grow up and repeat. But if they see that you still know how to come back together, and actually the baby's not number one.
That's what I was waiting for. I was waiting for that. That people
a lot
need
of people
to.
are going to look at me now and they're going to go, I don't like that she just said that.
Yeah.
But
I like that she said it, not me, because all the female-bodied humans that are out there going, kids are priority. We're not going into it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we do priorities work with a lot of people, and fundamentally, if you want to talk about why I think relationships tend to fall apart eventually, is because we have our priorities wrong. Like, they're all in the wrong freaking order. First of all, I put myself last. Mistake number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're putting your work first because that's what you used to. Mistake number 2. I'm putting the baby first, and it's just all haywire and all over the place.
It's all the barriers.
Yeah, and so a lot of our work is about bringing people back into alignment, I guess, with what the real priorities. There's our learned priorities, but then there's how do we actually make this work? And in order to make it work, we generally have to change all of that. Sounds really big, but you can do it. The great news is you can do it with just tiny little things. It's just little things that you make different choices on during the day that change what those priorities look like. It doesn't have to be big and huge. And I think sometimes that's why people are afraid to step into doing the work, or they think everything has to be upended and their whole world's going to change. And and it's actually really not. It's much simpler than that. The hard stuff is unpacking our own modelling. What did I learn about relationships and what love looks like, and my views of men and all that kind of stuff? That's a little bit harder. But if a relationship has gone in that direction and we're trying to bring it back, a lot of the time it's actually just that reprioritization and getting them to see where that separation started happening, and then giving people strategies on how to come back in.
And just around that, because we come back to the single thing as well. When do you see it's been too far? Because I have 2 examples in my mind already, like both from our retreat.
Yep.
One we're talking about where the baby was a priority and the partners were going apart, and the other one as well, like how far have you gone that is irreparable to come back. So what do you guys see how far is too far? That is no point of coming back.
So I think for me, if I have a couple come and sit with me, the first question that I want to get truth on and the honest answer is, are you still here? Right? Like, it's a fundamental thing. Like, you got to be truly honest with yourself. If you're sitting in a relationship and you're sitting there going, there's absolutely no fucking way that I'm going to continue this relationship, you have to have the courage to call it. Right? And that's the thing that most people don't have. And they'll sit in a relationship that's terrible for years because they don't have the courage to say what they need to say and say that they're done. Okay? That's detrimental to children. They learn that they're not a priority because they're watching you not be a priority. So you're teaching them that you don't matter.
Yeah.
And it goes on, it goes on. So for me, yeah, that's really the piece. It's like, if there's commitment there, anything can change, right? Repair is totally doable. Like Carol said, radical responsibility. One of the questions when I ask people when there was someone outside of a relationship that went outside the relationship, and it's the hardest question to ask, I don't generally ask it straight up. It's like, how did you co-create that situation? Right? Because the truth is, it's very rare. I won't say it never happens. Please, people. It's very rare that it's not because of the situation. Does that make sense? So it's like, it's not someone just didn't wake up in the morning and everything was fucking amazing and they went, I'm going to go and do something. Whether it's gambling, it could be anything outside the relationship. It could be a sexual relation, which is not what it's all about really. But, you know, it could be something that they've done that's detrimental outside of the relationship. Right? They didn't wake up in the morning to do it. There's lots of pain that's already in behind that. Right? There's lots of pain. And that's the only way they know how to stop the pain. All right? Dysfunctional as it is, that's reality of humanness. So where do we get back to that piece of like, well, okay, I'm only ever seeing my children. I'm only ever spending time with my children. We'll go back to the male in a minute. But, you know, like in their relationship, it's like the female partner is looking after the kids generally. Don't get hooked up on it. But generally, as a thing, it's one of the partners is looking after the children, being the parent, doing everything, and the other one's absent for whatever reason, whether that's because they're working their ass off to do their part, but they come back to here, and then they're like, then there's resentment. Now that's the question, right?
That's big.
So that's when you go back to, it's like, how high is the level of resentment, and how many different fields does it play out in as to whether the relationship is, you know, can come back, whether it's retrievable. So yeah, but it's, you know, the resentment's over there, the resentment's over here, and all we do is build resentment. Then we're just moving further and further apart. How do I turn back in? How do I turn towards? You know, I'll say it, the loneliest time in my life is sleeping next to someone that I was like in love with, right? Not knowing how to or what to, or you know, in a bed in someone, and it's like, it's lonely, super lonely. Like
waking up and then
going to bed with your back,
And not
Yeah.
really there.
and the other person's in the same boat, and it's just got to see how do we see through that. But that's the piece where we get back to how high is the resentment is really the measure.
Resentment.
You know, when you look at Gottman's work, he says that's the gateway to the end is resentment. So yeah, when you feel that resentment, if you don't know what it looks like, it's like, fuck you. Not you.
Beep.
Beep. I thought you said it was okay. I wouldn't have used that
I
word.
didn't say nothing.
That
I
was-
said it's okay.
No, but yeah, that for me, that's the piece. It's like, how do we turn back in? How do we go, actually, I can see now that I'm spending all my time at work. If it was me, I'm at work 18 hours a day, working. That's been in my past, you know, working, because I didn't know what to do when I came home. When I came home, it wasn't functional. It wasn't loving. It wasn't caring. It wasn't nurturing. So then I wouldn't come home, right? I would just work. And there was avoidance, like any addiction. And not knowing how to change it. That's why I'm super passionate about this. How do we give people opportunities to learn how to change it? You know, it could be as simple as a conversation.
Because it's happening a lot now. If you look around, everybody's under pressure. Alcohol consumption is going up. Domestic violence is going up these days. And so people don't know how to regulate their emotions, which is everything is just popping up. And infidelity is very big right now, thanks to social media. And the rest of the extras is coming along.
Humans,
yeah. And then the kids as well. As we just spoke about, you know, couples have kids and they just resentment and they're just drifting apart. And the one who suffers is the kid. 1 week father, 1 week mother, 1 week father, 1 week mother.
if they're lucky.
Yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
It's, such a big topic, Harry. Such a big topic. I think. Yeah, I don't know how much I want to get into it really, because it is a really big topic, and it's like one of the greatest problems in our world that's been created for the last, well, it's nearly 100 years now, right? Is that fathers are becoming more and more absent in families, okay, for whatever reason that is, and from that, there's heaps of data. Like I say, I haven't come ready with it or anything like that. There's heaps of data on what happens when fathers aren't present in children's lives. The levels of violence, the levels of crime, the levels of success are absolutely phenomenal when you start to actually break it down to what happens to young humans, right? It's not even about boys, it's about girls. The way that girls show up in the world that haven't had a father in their life is detrimental to society as well. Absolutely detrimental. And like I said, I don't know how much you want to get into that right now.
We can touch it up.
Yeah, it's huge. And our system, the whole system, has been pushed towards that with a narrative that's like, who knows? Like I said, it depends where you want to go with it all. But it's like, it doesn't serve us as a community, full stop, anywhere. That's one of the things I'm really passionate about. Like you say, domestic violence. Mine is from the other side of witnessing my mother being violent, having relationships that were violent towards me in different ways and whatever. And I can own how I played up in that as well. When I say played up, like didn't show up, right? How I didn't create an environment where it wasn't going to happen because I didn't know any different, right? It's very different now in my life. You know, the way that I show up in my relationship in my world now is very different to what it was in the past because I've learnt and I understand what was driving that behavior. Okay, so for me, it's really about breaking that. So domestic violence is everybody's duty.
Yes.
You see it a lot more when I do it because I'm physically way stronger. When I say I'm talking about male-bodied humans. And so it shows up in different ways. So it's a community problem. And, to get away from that, you know, I get really passionate when someone starts saying it's all about men. It's not all about men. It's all about all of us and changing the way that we all show up.
Yeah.
Right?
But your experience has been the total opposite as well. And people don't know that. So I don't know if you want to share a little bit more about why, you know, you're so passionate about it and it not just being about, you know, men being the ones who are perpetrating. Yeah,
I think, that is my experience. Like I say, how far do we go into it? But it's like, where's the pieces where, you know, I watched my mum be violent towards my father, drinking and stuff like that. And then I watched my dad because he's the first, so he would have been 90 now. So he was the first generation that really came through that, not understanding what a man was. When I say that in a way that's like our culture changed after the First World War.
Yes.
It really changed in the way that we show up as men and the way that women showed up in the world. And when I say this, I don't want to be that like I'm not for women. I'm 100% for women. If you see how much work I do with and for women and around women, it's probably 70% of my work. So I'm not about that. It's not that I'm not about supporting women. It's like, how do we fundamentally change so that we can all be happy?
Yes.
Right. I think you've witnessed that with some of the stuff that I've done. So it's like there's, you know, how things can be and how things are now are very different. Men don't show up, right? Because who showed them, right? Who showed them? I look at my dad. You know, I was having a conversation with him a few years ago, and I was talking to him about it, and he said, you know, I was talking about my experience, and he goes, he goes, I didn't know any different because that's what I watched with my dad and my mum. So his mum, he never said anything about being physically violent, but my pop never knew where he should be, how he should hold the relationship, how he should be the one that leads in the relationship, right? We've got to be careful when we say that as men as well. When I'm leading, there's no power over in my leading. I'm saying, hey, I got this and this is what we're going to do. Right? And then Carol goes, yep. Because we've already had the conversations. I understand Carol. I know Carol. Well, I know what she wants. And what she wants is for me to lead. So she doesn't have to do everything. Yeah. You know, one of the big things that makes relationships break down is, you know, if the women are out that listen to this, you end up doing everything.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes.
All the decisions are made. All the, you know, all the finances are done. Like the kids, everything is done by the woman by default, not because, you know, because she wants to. It's because someone has to.
Yes. Because
a man doesn't know how to take up the space and do it in a really good way. And that's, you know, I'm passionate about that. Passionate about getting men that they can hold themselves in a really good way, you know. And yeah, so there's a little bit. But yeah, my experience was watching that. Creating relationships was like that, not showing up in a relationship the way that I could, causing frustration, which then causes whatever else that happens from there in the background. And some of that can be physical violence. So, yeah, manipulation, control, all sorts of things happen. So, yeah, that's my experience. So, understand that, you know, as a culture, we need to learn how to do that differently. And like I said, I own my parts. I don't, you know, get on. I own my part how I didn't show up. I didn't know how to, and I'm really passionate about learning how I can show up. You know what it looks like to be the best version of myself. You know,
that's cool.
You see me, you know, I can be a powerful man, but I don't want to be a power over.
Yes,
right. There's a very big difference. There's no need for me to be power over in my world. Yeah,
and also with leading as well, like. Sometimes you can voice it to your wife, to your partner. I'm not doing anything. I want you to plan everything, and then we go along. And it's amazing because, you know, then you take turns. It's not always like you have to do this way. You know, okay, babe, you plan this weekend. I don't want to think about anything. And that gives you opportunity to, okay, just fuck all. I don't want to think nothing, you know. So just relax. And then the other way around. And like I like to plan, okay, I want to go, because I can be very indecisive. I want to eat Mexican today or I want to eat Indian today, you know. But then we end up, what's the best around, you know. So things like that. But I see it's fun as well. But then again, some don't like it. No, it has to be this way. What do you call this, toxic?
Yeah, but no, let's not go into it. Dysfunctional is a word I really like to use because I think, you know, when we talk about toxic, for me, it's like one of those words that gets thrown around. It's like if I said, "Oh, that's toxic," it's like all of a sudden you're like, "Whoa!" All right,
it's like toxic coming up.
Yeah, you're in a toxic relationship, Harry. I can't believe you're in there. You're doing that.
Toxic
you go
masculinity.
Yeah, yeah, but she's got the balls. Like she's the one with the toxic masculinity. She's the one that's running the house, right? Yeah. So it's like that's not the way to do it, right? And so if you turn it around, you go like, "Well, that's a little dysfunctional, isn't it?" Right? Like this means it's not working.
Yes.
Right. And so it's the same as, you know, if someone's really stuck in a way of being, how's it working for you? How's the relationship? Right. Oh, well, you might need to do something different.
Yeah.
That's all it's about. Right.
If it's not working, what can we do different?
Yeah. And
or do nothing at all. Just relax.
Maybe that might be the thing too.
Maybe
just take a chill.
You don't have to do always something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, this domestic violence thing can be very broad. And they're going to be, everybody have different perspective on it. Who has been through this, they will have their own opinion.
100%.
They're not going to look at the overall picture. They're only going to see what they suffered, but not like what was the overall problem, you know. And did they have choice to walk away or no?
Well, you know, we'll talk about that, I think, for a minute, Harry, because it's a really good point in that, you know, when you're looking from the outside of your friend, right, and your friend's coming to you regularly and going like, "Oh, this is happening in my relationship," and you know, okay, I want to leave, and then they come back 3 months later, "This is happening, and I want to leave," and they come back 6 months later, and I want to leave. There's so much in the background in that, right? Like if I grew up in that environment, that's love to me. That's what I witnessed to be love, right? And so therefore, I'm in a loving relationship, right? When someone looks
how it looks from the outside.
Yeah, my version of that, you've seen this, was like, what does love equal, right? And it's like, if that's my version of it, actually at some level there's a piece of me that's involved because it's a loving relationship.
Yeah.
Someone looking from the outside who doesn't have the same experience, it's not a loving relationship, right? But it's also, that's for me, is when I talk about like I own my peace in it. It's like, where did I have the confidence or whatever, the courage to go enough? You know, this is not serving me. Yeah, this is going to cost me a lot of money. Right? Think about that. If you're sitting there thinking about it, you go like, what's the part of you that go, this is going to cost me a lot of money? It doesn't matter. You know, the money will come and go.
Yes.
The life will not. You can't get it back.
Can't get it back.
But it's also having the courage, you know. And yeah. So yeah, but I think it's a huge topic once again, you know. And no violence is okay in my opinion, whatever that is.
It doesn't sort anything out anyway.
No. And you know, people don't see when you do this work and you get more cognitive about communication and stuff like that, and you go, "Well, that's violent communication. How can you change it?" What do you mean? Well,
Yeah, straight away defensive.
Yeah. It's where do we get with our words is like can be just as bad in some ways, right? Physically, you're not going to be there, but emotionally, the scars stay longer. So in childhood, a lot of those emotional scars stay longer than the physical scar may not.
Yeah, and that's what if kids see that growing up, they will stay there forever, and it's not looking good for them for future, because then they have their own opinion towards the marriage and relationship, and they don't want to be in one, and then, as you say, dysfunctional comes up.
Yeah. Even if if you're not being controlling of me, or if you're not telling me what I should do, or you're not whatever it is, then you don't love me. You don't care.
Yeah.
Like Carol and I quite often look at each other sometimes in our relationship, look at each other and go like, do we even care? Like, then we create a fight just for fun, right? And it's so bad.
It just gives you oh no, everything is alright. It's normal.
Everything's okay.
Yeah.
We're passionate people.
want
It's okay.
I don't want to talk to you for a while.
Yeah, no.
Just leave me alone.
Yep.
She doesn't get around the kitchen bench before she starts talking to me again, Like sometimes, fights are about, well, God, thank God I've got some silence now for a day. No, there's truth in that. So I'm going to have a bit of a caveat in there. There's truth in that. Sometimes we create that so we can actually have space, not us, but in our unconsciousness, in our relationships. But it's very true for Carol and I in that, we've changed the way that we show up in relationships so much that we work on whatever it is that's activated in us to go like, wow, and you get that little, and then I go, well, actually, that's my stuff. Right? And come back and have a bit of a giggle as we bust it with each other. Go, hey, I did this thing and I was thinking this and da-da-da. And I come back to this beautiful place again. It's not actually true. And so I don't project it onto Carol. She can say what she does.
But
I think saying those things out loud makes it almost seem insane. Like, if there's something that he's done and I have a reaction to that thing, it's like when I sit there for a minute and go, well, what am I telling myself here in this moment? Oh, he's this and he thinks that and he thinks that. And when I say it out loud to him, I go, oh, I thought you just were like going to leave me. And, and when I say it, and I go, well, that doesn't make any sense at all. So you can just put some perspective around it and go, actually, that doesn't need to be there. And we move on, right? And that's how growth in relationships works. It's using those moments where there's a charge or a reaction or whatever word you want to use to describe he pissed me off. By doing something, what does that actually say about me?
What triggers in you?
Like, what's it fired in me, and what do I get to learn from that? And then what do we get to discuss and move forward with that? That's where the growth happens. It's not that it never happens, and we don't ever want to give people a sense that relationships ever become this perfect road of smoothness that it doesn't happen, and I don't necessarily think you want it to, because for me, if it stopped at some point, I'm going to go, I'm not growing anymore. I'm not learning anything more about myself in this relationship, and I have a firm belief that relationships are meant for growth. That's why we have them. And so if that stops, then is where I'd go, well, what's the purpose of this relationship now? Because
there's no fights, there's no nothing, and there's no triggers.
There's a happy medium in it, right? But you don't want to be doing it all the time. But it's about how you move through those moments that's really important.
I think there's when you say there's a beautiful piece in like owning that piece of me that got activated or triggered or, upset, pissed off, that piece of me that goes, oh, yeah. And then having the beautiful conversation about it, and then the other person going, actually, I don't want to piss you off, so I'm going to do my best to change that behaviour. Right? Can you support me in that? Right? That's like the different language in that. It's like we're calling the other person forward into deeper relationship instead of calling them out to break the relationship down. Right? So when I call Carol forward in something, say, hey, this doesn't feel nice for me. This is what happens for me. It goes back to a childhood thing where I feel unloved. Right? Well, because we can have those conversations, she can go, well, my belief is that I want to be in deeper relationship and have love with you. And this piece of me that's scared of that, because that's the truth in it, right? There's a little piece of like how I get scared to get closer. Then that's the piece of me that created that situation. Right? So we've got this energy in between us that this here, like this closeness could hurt. We can get into all different dynamics of relationship, but it's like that's the piece that's in between us. And unconsciously, we create a little break so that I can be safe.
Yeah. And to come to this level of maturity, both partners need to do work. I wouldn't want to say need, like then it can be very, oh, here you go with your thingy. But getting to know your triggers and working on it is a beautiful thing. But if you getting triggered, but then you coming back charged up, that's not good.
Nope.
Isn't it?
Doesn't serve anybody.
Yeah.
And that's even in the I like to change the activator. It's brought something up in me I want to look at. It's not triggered because it's wrong. It's like, what has this brought up in me? There's a feeling of like, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
Right? You don't actually think that I can do this. Right? This happens in our world. We're just doing a house at the moment.
Every day, yeah.
Doing a house.
There's always
this
something
piece,
up.
and Carol doesn't believe in me to do the things that I say I'm going to do. Right? It's been there for a while, but there's a little piece in there like, I just want to pay someone to do it. And to me, that's like, there's that story I tell myself that she doesn't trust me. She doesn't believe in me. She doesn't love me. Right? And I can make that story mean so much. But the truth is that's just Carol's conditioning on how things need to be in her world. And mine's completely opposite. So, yeah. It's like that's the piece of it. I think the greatest piece for us, one of the greatest pieces was when we come into loving acceptance of our differences. That was really like, for us, it was like real pivotal when I was like, hey, babe, can you send this email for me? Fuck off. You got your own phone. You could do it yourself. And meanwhile, I'm out running around in the world doing all the things I'm doing, and I can't stop and I can't get the information. Carol's sitting on the computer. And in the end, when she went, you know what? I can just do that. The energy that she spent saying no was twice as much as she could have just went, done.
Yeah.
And then we're in deeper relationship because she's loving and supporting me. Right? And then when she needs something done, she just, can you? No, yeah, for sure. Because men want to please and make their partners happy. I can't talk about women because I'm not a woman. But
it's in general.
Yeah. Men want significance. Right? That's like, you can talk to all that you want, but that's the truth. And I want to do things for you so that you acknowledge and love me, And yeah.
Yeah, it goes both ways.
That's true.
And then it's just learning what that looks like for him, so that I'm not delivering love in a way that doesn't even arrive here. So that's a really big thing that we focus on as well on the weekend, is just like how I show love may not actually even get received if it's not in a way that he understands, and vice versa. And generally speaking, what we'll do as humans is we'll give love in the way we want to receive it, which is actually not the right way to do it. I will naturally give him love by doing everything for him. That's what I do, because that's what I actually want in return. So that's like a little agreement we have that we don't have because I didn't express that in any way. But that's generally what happens in relationship, is I'm doing everything for him. I'm taking care of his stuff. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, because that's how I'm showing him I love him.
Yeah.
But he doesn't believe that acts of service is actually, that's not how he wants me to show him love. If you don't have that conversation, all that happens is I build up a shit ton of resentment because I'm doing all this shit for him and he still thinks I don't love him. Yeah. And it didn't land at all.
Appreciation.
Yeah. So he wants like nice words, and he wants me to say how good he looks today, and he wants
words or what?
Words of affirmation.
Affirmation.
He wants me to tell him that he's like amazing. That's what works for him, and for me, that's so odd.
Yeah. It's not coming.
This is a bit of a joke. It's funny though.
It's true.
It's not coming out.
Yeah. So it takes
amazing?
practice for me to like show him love that way, because it just feels. Like when I receive a compliment, I don't receive compliments very well either. So it's there's a clunkiness in it,
I can relate to that as well.
Yeah. So it's really interesting.
Okay.
That dynamic, but super important, because when I reflect on my first marriage, I feel like that was a lot of what happened there. Was I just became the doer, and some of it is, when you were saying before about the woman starting to fall into that role of doing everything, which is really like something that men will tend to want to do more, because there's a lot more what's the word I'm looking for? Just makes them feel good. So they like to do things for women, right? Whereas what our roles are actually doing is the other way around. Women are tending to fall into that role of being the one that's doing everything, and that can come from a number of different places. It can be because she has no choice, because the man's not standing up. What I really wanted to point out when you were talking about that, though, is sometimes I've had to say to myself, have I given him the opportunity to do that?
To do that.
Or have I just stepped in and taken all that stuff away? And when I do that, I hate using the word, but I'm emasculating him. I'm taking away the opportunity that he has to step in and do all that stuff. And so we have to watch that particular part. And I know I was definitely guilty of that, in the past. And I still do it to a degree where I tend to want to get in and do everything. And then I go, actually, I just need to, if I could just slow and stop and not think I have to do everything, then that gives him the opportunity to actually step in and do some of that stuff. But if I come in and take over, I don't have the right to tell him, you're not doing anything for me, because actually, am I letting him?
Yeah.
And a lot of women have to
Or
ask
just in
themselves
between.
that question, like, am I letting him take control? Because most of the time, I'm the one that has control. That's our dynamic, and I'm not saying that's everyone's, but I think a lot of women fall into that role of just taking control of everything and not actually stepping back and letting them.
What's that ad where men say, "Yeah, I'll take the bin out."
Yeah, that's exactly
Seconds
where I was
later.
going.
It doesn't get done their way.
Yeah,
10
that's it.
seconds later.
Yes.
Timelines and my way. So I think that's what I was really thinking there. For was like, if we can really look at it and go like, hey, can you take the bin out? Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
Then you look around 10 minutes later and the bin's not out. Like, didn't fucking put the bin out.
Yeah.
So where's that piece of like, what's the timeline? There was no agreement about the time.
Yeah.
Can you take the bin out now? Yes. Right, take the bin out now.
Yeah.
All right. But it's like, where's the piece,
Yeah.
where that is? And it's like the timeline. Are you going to clean up? Right.
Yeah.
Carol's
5
cleanliness
minutes,
and
yeah.
my cleanliness are two completely different things. Or what, in our house, even we look at it and go like, Carol's an absolute minimalist. And I grew up in a house where every surface had a trinket or something, or every part of the wall had photos or pictures or paintings or like, and I don't mean a little bit, I mean like if you walked into my mum's house, right, you would see it and go like,
Art gallery.
And and so, in Carol's house is like, I muck around and go, there's a corner of the house that's Carol, and it's all, nothing gets left out, even in its part of the kitchen. And there's a garage door, I call it, so that you can put the appliances inside and pull the garage door down, right? And for me, it's like, why don't you leave the toaster out? We use it every morning, right? Like that sort of thing. It's like, but where's those pieces where we don't fight about it?
Yeah.
We just have a little compromise and go, that's how it goes. And I had one the other day, I go, hey, I use the salt and oil every day. Can I put it in the garage, right? Just so you know, it's the garage in the kitchen, not in the garage, right? But it's like in the little door that slides up and
the
down.
slider thing.
Because like every day I have to go and get it out of the cupboard and bring it back to next to the stove to cook breakfast, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, and I just said, we're just going to leave this here now. She goes, yeah, cool, right? But
Just
I've
have
got
to-
2 things that I've asked for, right?
Yeah.
That's the agreement. And so I don't go
ask.
stacking 10 things in there.
It's got to be a happy medium.
It's like no OCD or something, like, that the toaster's not there, like she's not.
It's not easy. I'm not sure how we got onto that.
But no, it's interesting. That's just about, what's the agreements that we have, and can we talk about them in a way that gets to that place where I was like, there's cohesion. People quite often say, I shouldn't have to compromise in a relationship. Don't be in one.
Yeah.
Don't be in one. It doesn't matter if it's like a friendship or anything. There's got to be compromise. You've got to go, there's no 2 humans the same. Right?
Yeah.
So we have to be able to be in relationship.
Yeah.
Right, and go like, what does that look like? And you got to have non-negotiables. You got to have standards and all that sort of stuff. But you can't expect that someone else is going to completely conform to your belief about what life should look like. You don't get a slave.
That's true.
And I think those things are always underlying. Like, compromise without a conversation is where the problem is. I made a compromise, but I didn't talk to him about it, and I didn't tell him I was doing it. And so I've just taken on this compromise by my own choice.
But not
Not
telling him.
communicated that.
Yeah.
And then again, there's the resentment after I've made a compromise, and he hasn't even acknowledged it.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know about it.
It's all inside.
It's expectations. They're exactly the same thing. I have an expectation. He's going to clean the house the same way I clean the house, right? Because that's my standard and that's what I expect. And it's actually my work to go, is it okay that he doesn't do things exactly the way I do them? And that's been a huge journey for me, like huge. And I think so many relationships fall into these small itty bitty arguments about the bin and the cleaning and the he doesn't show up for the kids and all that sort of stuff. And it's always about going, well, what role did I play in that? Like, how have I either not communicated something I need here? It's a little bit like we had this come up last week, didn't we, when we were talking about doing the shopping. And Brooke will kind of go out to do the groceries, but he'll walk into Aldi and he'll just buy all the meat. And that's his thing, right? He goes and buys all the meat. He doesn't usually go like, is there anything else? So I feel like I always have to go to Woolies or wherever and do the rest of the shopping, you know, toilet paper and dishwashing tablets and stuff that we need.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting there for a few days with this list on my phone. I had a list on my phone of stuff I needed for the house, and he'd probably been to the shop 4 times in that amount of time. And I was getting cranky with him because he didn't buy these things at the shops.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there one day and I went, did I ask him to buy these things? I was like, no. And I said to you, and I was having breakfast and I'm like, do you think if you like go to Woolies today, you might be able to get these things? And it was so awkward for me. It felt awkward to ask, right? Yeah. But I had a moment where I went, how can I expect him to do these things for me if I don't even ask? And so many women don't even ask. Just take it on, go and do the thing myself, and over time I get resentful.
Yeah.
Because he's
don't
not
worry about
like,
it. I can do myself.
Yeah. I can do it
That's
myself.
what's going to happen. Yeah.
And he doesn't know that he's completely missed the ball on that because I didn't tell him.
He's buying meat. He's still checking, should I buy rump steak today or Scotch fillet?
He's buying meat. Now, don't get me wrong. I know that there's women out there that are going to go, well, he should have checked. He should have said, is there anything else you need at the shops? He asks, is there anything else you need at the shops? And quite often I will just go, no, it's okay. I'll do it later.
It's fine.
It's fine. I'll do it later.
So, man, that's code. It's fine is code. Just so you all know, this is a secret, right, for them. It's fine. It's not fucking fine.
Dig deeper.
Yeah. But they can't do anything about it if you don't let them know. So, the conversation about the cleaning and all the rest of it, the sacrifice, all that sort of stuff has to have a conversation that comes with it. Otherwise, you're just doing it on your own.
And then you're going to feel like all the burden.
Yeah.
I have to do everything by myself.
Yeah. Look at all this sacrifice I made. And nothing.
Compromise that I made that you don't even know.
That you didn't even recognize that I made that compromise. Because you didn't even know you made the compromise. It's like,
I think there's a great book that I believe men should read. You know, it's up to them whether they read it or not. It's called No More Mr. Nice Guy by Dr. Robert Glover. In the book, he talks about covert contracts. Okay, so in the book, there's like, and it's for men to understand that they do it, but I think as humans, the truth is that we do it. And the covert contract goes, I'm going to do ABC, and then you're going to do XYZ because I did ABC. I didn't tell you, right? I didn't say, hey, Harry, I'm going to come around and mow your grass on Saturday because I need you to detail my car on Sunday, right? Like, we have agreements like that, but we don't say it. So I come around and mow your grass and go, he's a top guy. And then I go, fucking Harry didn't fucking do my car. He didn't detail my car. I'm keeping it outside the relationship, right? So it's not so. Yeah. But it's like, I have another one about the dishwasher and something else. But it's like, but it's, that's the kind of thing that we've got to do. So what's the covert contract? And it's exactly, Carol says, you're doing these things and there's no agreements. There's nothing spoken about. Then I get resentful or I get upset that hasn't come about. But I never spoke about it.
So and when we went deeper into that, I completely forgot about it until just now. When we went deeper into that, and Brooke was saying, well, why is it so hard for you to ask me to do things for you? And I had this real moment, didn't I? I'm going to get emotional just thinking about it. I was like, because, like, you're not going to love me if I don't do all this stuff for you. Like, I actually had this moment where I went, crap. I actually believed that he won't love me if I'm not there to do things for him. Like, what if I was just sitting on the lounge all day doing nothing? Would you still love me? That's what was actually playing out for me. It's like, he's not going to love me if I don't do all this stuff. And so there was that real moment where, and, that's where the goal is in relationships, is we unpack that kind of stuff. And it's like, oh, actually, that's what's playing out now.
There's always a story.
There's always a story.
Yeah.
There's always a story.
My comes up is like, I can be perfectionist. So if I say to Rebecca, can you boil eggs? She will boil eggs the way she knows. But I have to, if I don't tell her, like, I would like to just leave it on for 10 minutes. I don't want like any mushy. It has to be hard. And if it's not, and I haven't, as we say, communicated it, she has done perfectly her job. And here I come and I look at the eggs and like, fuck. Like, babe, well, you never told me. I told you boiled eggs. Yes, it's done. But why is yellow is not like the yolk is not freaking cooked?
Soft so you can make soldiers. What's wrong with that?
So I had to like learn this. Like I'm still learning it, because I like the way I like seasoning has to be perfect properly, but she doesn't like too much salt. So there's some days where breakfast, babe, I'm doing my breakfast because I need my eggs and seasoning like that, and I don't want you to get upset. No, that's okay. So now before you just fuck, just the argument and because but she's Mexican too, like, and I'm Indian, right? So I like my freaking spices, salt. I said, like, if we can't enjoy the food with flavor, what are we eating for?
But she might like the flavor of the food, not the spices, right?
But now she learned.
But
with the salt, but then we change the salt. We use Celtic salt now.
Yeah.
So you don't need much.
Yeah.
It gives you the flavor, and now we sorted it. But she has like picked up so many of the recipes and stuff. Like even I'm amazed now. Like fuck, that's even better than what I could cook. But yeah, it's I know what you mean. Like it's communication is very important. Otherwise, the resentment is just there, like the boiled eggs.
But I think the thing is that, Harry, we go back to that where you're just asking about there. It's like, what's the part in us, right? So not going so much to you, that's afraid to ask for what we want. Okay. In our world, if we don't ask, the answer is always no.
No. Yeah.
Okay. So, but there's a piece of us, like Carol said, but we're going to really deep stuff there when you say, like, when she goes, well, you won't love me, right? But there's stories before that they get back down to the base thing is, well, they won't love me, they'll leave, or they won't find me or attractive or something, right? But it's like, what's the piece that stops you for asking for what you desire in the world? In a relationship, it's the beautiful place to learn that. When we take that out into the world, like I go and get a coffee. I don't get coffee when I go out because I like my coffee. It's double espresso, ran through twice with a little bit of butter in it. I struggle to ask for that at a coffee shop because they're going to judge me, right? Because I used to judge myself. I used to judge myself as like coffee punces. What are they doing? And now I'm one of them. But so I just won't ask for it. So still work for me to do to be able to walk up, and I can do lots of things. But there's little pieces like that sometimes that are just like, wow, there's still a little piece in the back of me has a story about asking for what I want in a coffee shop. Right?
And everybody's watching you.
Yeah. Where's that? I can stand up in front of people and talk. I can do all sorts of different things, but it's like there's a story that I'm running there. Butter, yeah.
Coffee. It's a big
Yeah.
one.
Well, look at it. For my generation, coffee was bad. I mean, coffee is bad. It's still bad. Butter.
I have a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I hope I get feedback from that because it is poison. We shouldn't be drinking it, and I still drink it, right?
Every day.
Yeah. But it's like, like butter was bad. So there's a story there that's unconscious to me. It's like I shouldn't be having butter, there's so many little things like that when you look at it in the world. It's like there's a story attached to most of this stuff. The story I tell myself is what we say quite often, when we're busting out. When you get into the practice of telling the other person, what's stopping you is the story I tell myself is doom. And then once you have a bit of a joke about it, it's like Carol says, like I always say, bust the story. Like bust it. Put it out there, and all of a sudden it doesn't have the same power anymore. It's a bit like shame. You have shame about something about yourself, so you hold that back. Shame spoken out loud loses its power. So
that's true. All right, I would like to come back to our single session that we're talking about when the singles come to workshops. I'll keep it very brief as well because I think we're gonna be coming with the time. When I would say singles or couples, I just talk about in general our workshop. What is the main emotion or pattern that you guys see a lot that is repeating every year? That you see different couples or different single individuals, but they have kind of a shame or abandonment, or what issue do you see a lot? Like when I was talking about boiled eggs, for me it could be disappointment, like, oh my God, it's just boiled eggs, she couldn't do the boiled egg. But end of the day, if I'm not giving her the recipe, she wouldn't know. But then I'm just talking about the disappointment. That's a
It's gone
disappointment.
droopy.
It's like righty-tighty.
Yeah, that's it.
It needs
Some,
some.
see, he's been
some-
around a
Right.
mechanic for a long time. Righty tighty, lefty loosey.
You know.
Righty, lefty, loosey. I'm not sure what that was saying about what was going on. Let me think about that for a
Well, that was the
moment.
problem in their relationship. Something was limp. No,
It's not connecting.
yeah,
Very droopy.
it's not attractive. The other thing, like humans are really complex, but I think when we get down to it, there's a couple of things. What we must understand is like if I'm looking at my world today, it's a reflection of my life 0 to 7 mostly.
Years old.
Yeah, 0 to 7. That's what I'm saying. When I said earlier was about, we're modeling to our children what's okay, what's not okay. So in that time, where do we get to the place of I don't matter, I'm not important, I'm unlovable? Right? So we look at in relationships. There's more, but let's keep it really simple. There was a young fella years ago we were doing work with, and it was on our co-gender circle at night, and he was there with his mother, right? Like young fella, when I say mid-20s, so mum was 50. And we're doing a process and we're doing a regression piece, and he went back to because it was about something that was in his world now with a woman. And we went back to, and when we went back and did a regression to where it first started, and he was like 3 years old, 2.5, 3 years old. And he was describing the room that he was in at that time. And his mother's sitting on the couch next to him. Next thing, she's fallen backwards out of the picture, as in she got this deep recognition of something that had gone on.
Wow.
And then so from that space, then he got to express it and talk about what happened. And it was when his mother stopped breastfeeding him. Right? And in that moment when his mother stopped breastfeeding him, he took on the judgment that he was unlovable and that she didn't care. Okay?
Wow.
And so then that carries out in his relationship. He's 20-something years old. This same energy with women is playing up that he's not important and he's unlovable. And he's creating these scenarios. Right? So that's a piece in living that. But the beautiful piece in that was when the mother recognized the room and everything, we got to speak to her and go through everything that had happened for her in that moment. The same, because she had her own stuff. Right, that had come up from there about it being inadequate because she couldn't breastfeed him anymore, and the disconnect, and everything else as well that played out in their lives for the rest came back to that one little point. So when we talk about it, that's the kind of things that we need to look for as humans. It's like this is a reflection,
Yes.
right, or a symptom of something that I believe in myself, and I'm recreating it unconsciously to feel unlovable.
Yeah.
Right.
Deep down, like you want it because you programmed
Yeah,
from young age,
yeah.
and you
To believe
create
it.
the scenario, so you go through the same emotion, right?
Shadow belief.
Shadow
about
belief.
self. So yeah, when you bring it around and move it out, and that's what Carol said before about how do we move these things out? So the filter that's coming in through, I can make a choice then and go, actually, like she does really love me. I'm not going to go to that place, and I'm going to stay present, and I'm going to be with her, loving and connected. Right. So for singles and in a relationship, it's always about the relationship is here first with self. And when I can start to understand that more, I can start to break the patterns that play up in my world.
Yeah.
If we talk about abandonment, we're like, I remember once before when we were doing in-person circles, early, might have been 2019. I didn't, Carol, that's me, I'm old, right? 2019, we were doing a thing, and we had, a co-gender circle, and there was about 20 of us in this co-gender circle, and nothing really came up. And so I just asked the question of like, who understands their abandonment wound? And right, 2 people out of 20 people put their hand up. And I asked the question in that specific way on purpose. I didn't ask who had. I said who understands it. Because it's in all of us. Abandonment is in all of us somewhere. So we did a meditation. I just did like a 10 or 15 meditation. I tell myself I don't do meditations, but I took everybody on this little journey, and we came back to the room. And then from that, everybody was able to express and have a little bit more of an insight and understanding of what their actual abandonment wound was. Right? And it could be as simple as, you were in the shopping trolley when you were 2 years old in the supermarket. Mum's gone around the corner for a minute, met Auntie Jonah around the corner, sat there for 10 or 15 minutes talking to her. You're in the trolley or pram or whatever, just waiting, and no one's coming. And all of a sudden there's all this fear built up that you've been left behind.
Yeah.
Right? You don't actually understand it completely at 2.
Yeah.
But for the rest of your life now, you're looking for every scenario where that plays out. Or dad didn't come pick you up from school. Or mum didn't come and pick you up from school. That was my mum. She used to forget me all the time.
Or something like that.
Yeah, and I just walk home. I was really independent. I must have learned that really early. I was just like, oh, well, I'm going.
Yeah.
And then Mum used to know which way to walk
Wow.
I would walk to come home to pick me up. So it was like, I was lucky in that respect that I could get to that place. But a lot of people never do. But they don't understand either. Like, I've got to do this because you're going to leave me. Like Carol said, you won't love me if I won't do it. So, yeah. So all of us as individuals, that's the piece. So if I get deeper in relationship with myself, then when I come into a relationship with someone else, I don't have to have all those pieces in between us. I can see what's mine and I can own it. Radical responsibility. Come back to that piece. Is actually my piece. It's my belief that you're going to leave me.
Yeah.
You haven't actually shown me that you're going to leave me. You've had a situation or a stimulus and I've made it mean that you're going to leave me. So all of a sudden I shut down, close down, don't talk, get it wrong, and just go away.
I think it's really cool that you just used an example there that talked about abandonment, because I think, the way I would answer the question that you asked about, whether they're a single or a couple, what's the thing that most people are doing that maybe doesn't work? And I think that's the thing people do is they get into relationship and abandon themselves in that relationship in order to get something back. Most people go into a relationship needing something back from it. And that's where it all goes pear-shaped, because if I come into this relationship and I'm needing something or wanting something or expecting something, if I'm expecting it back and I don't get it, who's the one that ends up being in pain then? Me. But ideally, or most of the time what's happened is I've given myself up in order to be in that relationship. I give part of myself up. Same happens when you have a baby, right? There's a part of yourself that goes into that relationship then. And I think that's where most people go wrong.
Yeah.
We're getting into a relationship for the wrong reasons. We're getting into a relationship because I need security, I need love, I need financial support, I need this, I need that, I like whatever it is. And whether we know about it or don't, it's there. And a lot of people don't know about it. They don't know that I've gotten into this relationship to get something. I need to be loved. So that's why I'm here. I need to have my head patted every now and again. That's why I'm here. And that's why it's so important to go to here, because then I can be aware of why I'm showing up in this relationship, why I've chosen it, why I've co-created it, because it is a co-creation. We both would have attracted each other in the first place because there's something underlying that we were seeking from that other person. And we have to work through that. And it's possible, right? But the relationship should be an addition. It should be, we always say, whilst energetics in a relationship can be 50-50, and sometimes he's 80 and I'm 20, and sometimes I'm 80 and he's 20, and sometimes it is 50-50, but you've got to be able to move through all that. It's like a relationship doesn't complete me, or it shouldn't complete me. This person needs to add value to my world, not be the value in my world. I have to be 100% of my own person. And so for me, I feel like that's where, whether you're talking single, that would be my answer to your question, is we actually, it's why we're getting into a relationship that causes the problems later on down the track. Because again, there's that underlying thing we're seeking from it. We haven't had the conversation. Who walks into a relationship goes, right, I really need to feel loved. And this is exactly how I want to be loved. And this is exactly what it looks like. And now we're going to get into a relationship with each other. Yeah. Nobody does that.
Nobody does that.
Most of the time because we're not aware that we're even doing that. So unpacking that is really a lot of what we do.
And that's why I think it's important both parties do it together or on individual level. Like I group, mostly men. But you don't see any I group, a lot of them for women. Because, no, I don't know what you do, but in general, like, how many I groups you have, say, in Queensland?
Yeah, 12, I think it is.
Yeah, but how many I groups you have for women?
Hardly any.
Right? Because sometimes it can turn into a kitty party.
Let's not, wait. Come back. I think there's fundamental differences in that and what you're saying.
Because I have another question related to that for women.
Yeah. So we'll go into Carol's stuff in a minute, but I think it's commitment from men is quite often higher than the commitment from women into those spaces. Like Carol's experience of that was like women wanted the spaces. Carol created the spaces. They didn't turn up. They come this week, but they wouldn't come next week. And with the men, it's like we run a couple of different ones and we get between, 16 to 25 men week in, week out in those different I groups. And, it's creating safe spaces for men to talk, right? people don't understand, I think, what goes on in a men's circle, in the ones that I'm involved in, is like, it's very much about holding the man to the highest standard. I think some people think that they get there and they whinge and they carry on and they do that. It's different between men and women quite often, is that the man's there for support and to be understood, right? And men do that.
Yes.
Same as like women ask for vulnerability, and I say to men, quite often it's not okay, because the difference between vulnerability and victimhood is very, very fine. It's a very fine line, and most people don't wear glasses, right? So where's the piece where you come and sit in circle with other men and understand yourself? And what women want is to understand that the man has it, right? So when she's asking for vulnerability, quite often the man will come with vulnerability which looks like a little boy crying. Does that make sense? And then she feels like she has to hold that as well. When we're talking about before, another thing I've got to do, right? If the man comes and he sits in circle with men of different ages and different cultures and all sorts of things, he comes home and he has a different perspective of what the thing was. Right? And if he comes home and he expresses to his partner that, hey, what I recognised when I went to circle tonight or to the men's group was that ABC has been happening for me and it's been showing up like this, right? I'd really love to change that. Can you support me in changing that as well? And she all of a sudden goes, wow. He's looked at himself. He understands himself. He's not burdening me with another problem, and he's come with a solution, right? And he's asked me to support him to do that. Yeah. Like all of a sudden, there's beautiful connection there because she doesn't have to mother him.
Yes.
Right. She can be in relationship with him from this level rather than like down being the mother. Because it's very hard to understand that. Where's the loving, nurturing piece of the woman, right, towards the man that isn't the mother?
Yeah.
Right. And how does the man start to hold himself in a way that it's not looking at her to be the mother? He's looking to be the partner. And where's the respect and gratitude in that? That's a whole nother thing. But but I think that's really important, and that's really good. But women want different things when they sit in circle with other women. Quite often, they want to be heard, and in a way, and men want to fix, and it's beautiful for men to sit and fix each other, help each other, support each other, and women want to be heard. So some of the fundamental differences, and it's not 100% people, just so you know. Okay.
So I have a question for you related to that. How is it like kind of different question now? Like how can women support the men? Like how can they
work?
In work or in general life, like for tips for who don't go to a women's circle, like why they should go to a women's circle, and how, if they're not going to a women's circle, how they can support general like men.
I think it's about hearing them. Again, women don't need to solve all the problems, right? I think women tend to take things on board, and not much different to men. Like if he comes to me with a problem, or I went to circle and I went through all this stuff and all this stuff came up, it's like women tend to take things on board, and I take it personally, and I go, oh God, like this stuff is happening and I'm going to try and like solve it. And it's just not, that's just not the role we play. Our favorite question to ask in relationship is, well, what do you need from me? It's a showstopper question, because it's the one that says, does he need me to do something with that, or does he just need me to support him in that, and hear him and remind him that I still love him no matter what's going on for him, I'm here for you. So that's like our favorite question. Women will generally come to circle to speak, because we don't often give ourselves the opportunity to speak, or perhaps we are in relationships where the men don't provide that environment. Maybe when I speak my truth, it gets shut down, or it gets like it doesn't get heard. And if that's happening at home or anywhere else, women will want to come to circle to talk about that. But my feeling for women is, and what I want to take women through, is more coming back into their bodies and dropping back into the truth of who we are, which sits in our bodies and not in our heads. We spend too much time in our heads thinking and doing and taking action, especially if we're parents and all that sort of stuff. And it's just giving them some space to slow down.
Relax.
Sometimes it's just about slowing down, because until we slow down, we don't create the space for the ideas or for the light bulb moments. Like, how do I can't do that when I'm going all the time. I need to take some time to come back into my heart and into my body and go, actually, what's really going on here for me? Because that's what's playing out in my world.
Take time.
Yeah.
Because they're projecting the same energy outwards,
100%.
So
So it's
yeah.
just about giving them space.
But the other thing is, like with everybody in our worlds, is remember that when someone's speaking about something, it's their reality, right? It's your reality, Harry, not mine. We had the same situation, right? We went to the same place, and we have two different stories about that, right? Neither of them's right or wrong. It's actually my reality. So when we're talking to a partner or in a relationship with someone, hear their reality and don't make them wrong for it, right? Hear their reality and go, well, my experience was whatever your experience was, and go, oh, okay. If we watch a movie together, you and I see two different stories.
Yeah.
Right? It's like that's our world. And so have that love and compassion for each other and hold space and listen.
Nobody's ever right or wrong. Actually, everybody's right.
Everybody's right.
Yeah. I tell my story. That's my truth. It's my 100% perception of whatever just happened. It's right.
Yeah.
He tells his story. It's right.
That's right.
There's
Nobody's
no,
wrong.
Yeah.
Somebody in the middle. Is my beliefs and values are different to Carol's beliefs and values, which are different to yours. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
And so in that, I can get righteous or I can be in love.
Well,
I can't
Yeah.
be both.
You can't be both.
yeah, that's what I remember from my session.
Yeah. Yeah. You can be right
You can be.
or you can be in love. But you can't be both.
Yeah.
And that's your learning, Harry. I think you learnt that. And you're going like, okay, well, I need to change that view.
It comes a lot in my mind
Yeah.
when I'm kind of having an argument with Rebecca. And then after 30 seconds, this voice come to my ears. Bro, you want to be right or you want to love?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, is it really worth arguing about this fucking popcorn? No?
Exactly.
But sometimes the ego comes in. No, this has to be this. I don't want caramelized popcorn. I don't want it.
But in that moment, you get to choose.
Exactly.
Because you're aware.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
aware that that's playing out. So then I
And
get
then
to
you
choose.
calm down.
Am I going to continue to have this
Here's a
argument?
nice
Or is
statement.
there like,
Yeah.
is it not going to serve me? And that's,
And it's important, like, and it's not gonna come up in 6 months, 1 year. I was reading somewhere it takes 7 years when you're in a relationship or a marriage to know a person, but then you just scratching the surface, and slowly there's the next stage.
But I think it's the dynamics is when they look at it, the 7 years. So when we have the 7-year cycles, the 7-year itches and stuff, the first 7 years of relationship is generally about how we're the same, right? And then the next 7 years is about how we're different, and that's where they break down. Because all of a sudden we're making it wrong that she likes dark chocolate and I like white chocolate. Right? And how can we live together? Right? Like that's a silly example, but you get it. We start to see all the things that are different in that next 7 years. And then I think the next 7 after that is like acceptance and understanding and love and connection. That's right. For us, it's that place of like, if you look at the camera, it's like this is us in relationship. It's actually beautiful. Two completely different things coming in together instead of going like this. It's never going to work. When we get to that place of actually, you learn that. Culturally for you and Rebecca, it's like you come from two completely different cultures.
Oh, yes.
And you're going to blend it into one. And like what you lived through and your lived experiences, your mum and your dad, financial situation, everything is over here. And then hers is over here, Rebecca's is over here. And then you're going to make your own down here. Right? How beautiful is that going to be?
Right.
The meshing of all that
That's
into
true.
your little culture. Right? And it's like when I actually get curious, because curiosity is always the answer.
Yeah.
How did you get to be like that? How did that happen for you? How do you understand that? What do you see in that? Like how? So curiosity is the answer, always, to being in relationship deeper.
Be curious.
And never why. Never why, Harry. Because
be curious.
why is a shaming question. You know that, don't you?
Why you like that?
Yeah. See, straight away, he's heard that 1,000 times.
Attack.
Yeah. And it's like, what made you believe that? Or what's happened for you to get to that place? Or what drives that behavior in the background of that? So it's like if we get away from the why, it's unconscious shaming question from like a 3-year-old that goes, why are you doing that? Boom, shame. So straight away change your direction. Anyway.
I got a last question. Just popped in my head again. In a relationship or in marriage, whatever we can say, how is porn affecting that?
This is a big thing at the moment. There's a whole lot of data out there that's incorrect this week, which if you look into it, it's really interesting. But we'll move away from that. I think it can be really disconnecting in my beliefs and what it should be and what it is being in my body is completely different. Within porn, like any addiction, we create neural pathways that are mentally stimulating and get stronger and stronger and stronger from that stimulation. So for me, it's detrimental to connection and depth, right? In that, if it's an addiction or something like that, it really is detrimental. If we look at it as a younger culture, they don't understand any different because everybody, and it's changed. That's what's really changed in say, in Carol and my generation, it was more acceptable, more slanted towards men being the consumers of porn.
Yes.
Men are way more visual than women have been. And so there was a market for it and everything like that, right? Nowadays it's shifted so much that the young people, so the under 30s, under 25 is a real dynamic that's there, that it's nearly 50-50 with the young women. And so from that, it's created a lot of problems because what they watch and what they see is not lovemaking.
Yeah.
You know, it's not connection. It's about an act, right? And it's about doing. And, you know, if we look at perpetration and all that sort of stuff, a lot of that comes from that culture.
Yes.
So when we look at it in that respect, there's a difference between two consenting adults watching porn and using it as a little tool to get excited and use it, or learning or stuff like that, to what it is in our culture now, where it's like, you know, 12, 13-year-old kids now have got it on their phone. Like, don't worry about what Karen says. But it's like, you know, they get access to it straight away.
Yeah.
They learn and they understand, and then that's what they think they should do.
Yeah.
You know, the young girls believe that that's what they have to do to have a boyfriend, all that sort of stuff. I remember a while ago I was in like a sexuality thing, learning a modality on self-pleasure, and one of the women asked to have a conversation with me about it, and we were talking about her being with an older man and all that sort of stuff, and that was her desire and all that sort of stuff. But then she went back to the place of like, well, said, you know, men learn to perform from porn. She said women do too. All right. So women expect that that's how they have to show up.
Yes.
That that's what men want, and so that's what they do. Right. And like I say, there's all different levels of all of that, but it's like it's detrimental to connection. That's what I like to say with it, right? If it's your kink and you're doing it, whatever. But when it's a norm, some of those things, when it's an absolute norm, it's like it's not okay.
What he said.
Yeah. No, it's good.
No, I agree. I think it's just, it's like anything used in the right way in a relationship.
Yes.
And it's healthy, go for it. Used in a way that creates disconnection or avoidance, or again, it's just an addiction that I'm distracting myself with over here, then it's not healthy. And I think porn is like anything else. You have to look at it and go, is it healthy and creating
healthy relationship?
A healthy relationship, or is it a detriment to my relationship?
Yeah.
It's that simple.
Yeah, that's huge.
Guys, before we go, any tips for people out there how to improve their relationship? Quick, we have a couple of minutes left, 5 minutes left. No pressure, anything that pops in your mind.
There's so many.
I think for me, as like I said it before, it's like curiosity.
Yep.
Like wanting to understand the other person's perception of the world is super good. Great gratitude.
Yes.
Like, you know, we talk about a little bit, what does gratitude look like? Gratitude looks like appreciating the small things. Where's the piece where there's reach out for connection that goes unnoticed? Like sometimes it's dysfunctional. Like, you know, I can be antagonistic towards things. I can be really like pain in the butt, you know, like little cute gestures, especially, you know, men doing those sorts of things. It's, you know, Carol knows when something's not off because I don't touch her on the ass when I walk past, you know, or something like that. It's, you know, be curious.
Be curious.
Curiosity. Yeah. How did you get like that rather than what the fuck? It's like, how come you believe that or whatever, in a really good way.
I would say don't ever enter a conflict if you're highly emotional. Like if you're still in that state of being really like triggered by it, if that's my word, activated, whatever the word is.
Heightened.
Have the conversation, but put the conversation off. It's one of Gottman's rules again. Set a minimum 20 minutes, maximum 24 hours before you come back and have that conversation. And you go away and you use that time to calm yourself down. You don't use that time to get your argument together or,
Ammunition.
get your defense sorted out. That's not what you use it for. You just
ChatGPT.
use it to, ChatGPT, my symptoms.
It's a machine.
Yeah. Conflict just gets so out of control when you're heightened in emotion, right? You have to not be in that state.
So if we said about that, it'd be like down-regulate your nervous system, right? Conflict is for resolution, not for being right,
Yeah.
right? Conflict is for resolution, not to be right.
That's a very nice words.
There's a million things I could keep going, but it just gets overwhelming. So start with that.
Yeah.
Edit.
And
Stop being a dick.
that's also another one. So also, what workshops and what dates they're coming along?
Oh my gosh.
So you're gonna put all the links in the YouTube as well.
Okay. Well, I don't know when this is gonna go anywhere. We've got Women's Circle on Thursday night. Our next and the Women's Retreat is coming up in May. So that's the 15th to the 18th of May.
Yes.
That's in Talai in the hinterland and Gold Coast. Beautiful,
Yes.
beautiful property up there. So that's only got a couple of spaces left. We've got our first Do Love Differently workshop at the end of May. That's on the 31st of May. That one's at Wynnum. And then we have another one on the 20th of June, which is down in Elanora. So there's one Brisbane, one Gold Coast.
Gold Coast, yeah.
And really after that, we've got our regular co-gender circles once a month. The women's
First
circles. First Thursday of every month is the co-gender circles. The women's circles, they're a little bit more haphazard, maybe every second month, but you'll have to... All our events are on our Facebook and our socials. And then the Ultimate Relationships event is in October.
October.
And we're massive, amazing new retreat venue for that one. So we're pretty excited for that.
Do you have dates for that?
It's in October, Harry.
The
It's so
14th
far
to the
away.
16th or something? I don't
No,
know.
I think it's the 21st to the... It's in the 20s.
In the 20s.
Last week or
Second
last
last
week.
week of October, I think.
Because I'm gonna add all the
Yeah.
socials and links onto the video as well,
Amazing.
so people can reach out.
Yeah.
And also, if you want to talk about problems the men having, you can go iGroup. Mankind Project also does great job, where Brooke is always active.
That's mkpqld.org.
I'll probably add that as
And
well.
they got iGroups on there.
So, if you have questions regarding your relationship, couples, you can do Women's Circle or you can do co-gender, which I'm guilty. I haven't been there yet because there's always something come up, but I promise I will be there.
Harry's scared.
Yeah, no, I'm not scared. It's all right. It's just a clashing. Anyway, but I highly recommend it. And from this podcast, you must have learned a lot of little knickknacks, which you can integrate in your life, everyday life. Doesn't matter you're single, you're in a relationship. These things will help you. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to them on the socials. And I'm pretty sure Carol will reply because Brooke doesn't. And
100%.
any questions for me, I'm happy to help. Until then, it was the longest podcast I've ever done yet. But I was ready for it and I knew it's going to happen. And I'm so happy about it. And really grateful for you guys to be here and take your time out of your busy days. And any message before we wrap up?
Thank you for having us.
Oh, that's
Yeah, it's been amazing, Harry. It really has been. And I'll do one more little piece at the end. Right?
Yeah.
You are part of the problem,
Hmm.
right? I think if people can understand that, they always blame.
Hmm.
Blame means that I don't have to look at myself.
Hmm.
And then it's the other person. If you're in a relationship where you're saying the other person is the one that's got to do the work, stop it. Like really look at yourself and go, all right, what can I own? And then it has an opportunity to move forward. And so I was at my mum's 90th birthday yesterday. She didn't remember me. That was really sad. But the other piece that she always said was, if you don't think the problem is within, then the whole world needs a psychologist.
Hmm.
All right. It's like, it's me. It's my world.
Mm.
The only person that's actually in my world 100% of the time is me. And so if there's problems in it, it's going to be me. I'm making the choice to be there even is a problem.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So there you go. Thank you.
It's really good that you say that, because I read this morning about it. Regulate your own life or your nervous system and emotions. The rest everything else will fall to its place.
100%.
Stop blaming and projecting and look within.
Yeah.
And you will find your answers.
Yeah.
And which is the same.
I will say, until I'm blue in the face, your external world is a reflection of your internal world.
Yeah.
It's the only world you have any control over.
Anyway, one more last thing. Bye-bye, Harry. Beautiful.
Thank you, Harry.
Thanks, guys.
Love your energy and thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys, that's a wrap up for today. Until next time, have a great time. Thank you. Bye.